have everybody here today. We're excited to be here with Simon and Dara from Noloco. Noloco is a no-code app building tool for internal tooling. You can create customer portals, partner apps, internal tools, all from your Airtable or Google Sheets. So really excited to sort of see this today, talk to them about their business. Hopefully we'll get a little bit of a demo, and then we'll have some room for Q&A at the end. Also, if you have any questions as this presentation progresses, feel free to drop them in the chat. We'll try to answer them in line, but if not, fear not, we'll get to them at the end. I think that's probably it. One thing I will say is this demo today is being recorded. So if you have to drop, we hope you stay to the end, but if you have to drop up for any reason, within a day or two, we will email this out to everybody who attended. So fear not if you miss anything or you just want to replay it later. So with that being said, I'll pass it over and let Simon and Darren get started.
Thanks very much, Art. And yeah, great to be here. Hi, everyone. My name's Simon. I'm co-founder of Noloco. And as Art mentioned, I'm joined today by my other co-founder, Dara, who really is the wizard behind the platform, but I'm going to be the one talking you through a quick demo today. So as Art mentioned, Noloco is a no-code platform for teams to instantly create apps around your business data. So whether you're an ops manager, a product manager, a business owner, or a startup founder, you can use Noloco to create internal apps, customer-facing portals, or partner portals as well. And we also offer a free trial on our website. So if you do want to head over to noloco.io, you can sign up and start using the platform for free. And we'd also be very happy to give you a free onboarding session as well. And my email is simon@noloco.io if you want to reach out to me directly. But today, what we're going to be doing is creating an app from scratch on Noloco using an Airtable base. So that's what I'll quickly talk through here. So the Airtable base we chose is this event planning template, and we added a few different fields to it. But essentially what it is an Airtable base that has a concept of a schedule, a collection of speakers, the team members or organizers who are organizing the event, a list of attendees, and a budget as well. So what we're going to be doing is creating an app in Noloco that will allow the team to manage the event, allow speakers to be able to log in. So it's kind of an external use case. So you have speakers who are obviously participating in the event. They're able to log in and update details around themselves and their talk, upload presentations, for example. And then we're also going to set up some cool workflows as well to notify the team when a speaker updates their information. And we'll add in some other little bits as well. But I'm going to head over to Noloco now and get started. So what I'm going to do is I've come into my Noloco dashboard here, and I'm going to create a new app. So I'm just going to pick a name here. I'm going to call this event planning. So I've picked my name, and I'm going to click next to start creating my app. So during the kind of onboarding flow here, or project creation flow, we can pick different images. So we can pick the logo that we want to use in our sidebar. So I'm just going to add this here, and we get a preview of what that looks like. So Dara created a nice image here for Evently, which we can say is the name of our of the team or the company that's running this event. We can also choose a different logo then for the login screen that our speakers and the rest of our team will come to log into this app. And if we click next, we can see that we're starting to create the app. And this is where we choose our data source for this app. So you can create apps using Noloco collections, which is kind of our internal storage within Noloco, if you want to create your collections from scratch there. But for this particular example, we said we're going to use an Airtable base. We also have just launched our Google Sheets integration as well. So if you're storing data in Google Sheets, you can use that as kind of backend for your app as well. But I'm going to go ahead and choose Airtable here. So now I'm going to be brought to a screen where I can basically start setting up that Airtable sync essentially. So what I'm going to do firstly is go back to Airtable, and I'm going to choose my or find my API key from the account settings here. So I'm going to go to account, and I'm going to go to the API section here, click to generate an API key. And I'm just going to copy this and go back to Noloco and put it in here. And now what I need to do is get my shared base link. So again, I'm going to go back to Airtable. I am going to go back to my base. And here I'm just going to click on the share button. And now I've got a shared base link here. So I'm just going to copy my shared base link, bring that back to Noloco here, and click next. So as you can see on the screen, what we're doing right now is we are connecting to Airtable. Noloco's basically figuring out the schema within that Airtable base. And then what we're doing is basically setting up the tables things our side and building the app layout in the background. So I'm going to click now to bring me to my app. And what we can see here in Noloco is that we've automatically created views around your different data that was in Airtable. So we have a view for the team, the speakers who are taking part in the event, a list of attendees, the schedule for the event, and the budget as well. So that's basically a lot of heavy lifting done for us. And now what we're going to do is basically update this now to make it more kind of user friendly and add in some kind of workflows as well. So the first thing I'm going to do is basically add some user roles. So if I go over to the settings here and we go over to the user roles page, we can see that by default, each app in Noloco comes with 2 user roles. So a user role and also a team admin user role as well. But I'm going to go ahead and add in a couple more rows here. We mightn't go around to using all of them, but I'm just going to create a speaker user role first. I'm just going to save this. Then I'm going to add another user role here for a speaker coordinator, we'll call it. So speaker coordinator or like organizer, if you like. Then I'm just going to create one other user role here for like a finance team member as well. So I've created those now. I'm just going to click save. So then the next thing I'm going to do is basically add user lists. So we know if going back to the Airtable here, we can see that we have one table in Airtable that's basically a list of our team members, i.e. the other event organizers. And we also have another table here that is the speakers. And we can see these as well here in Noloco. So if we go to the data tab, we can see the team members here and also the speakers table here as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add my first user list. And what this basically means is that I'm going to connect here. So you'll see that I'm choosing my speakers table from Airtable, and I'm basically telling Noloco that there are certain fields within that table that has the email address of the speaker and also the first name of the speaker and the last name as well. And by default, I'm going to say that any user or kind of record, if you like, in that speakers table, those users should basically have the speaker user role that I just created. So I'm going to go ahead and save that. And then I'm also going to add one more user list here. I'm going to call this team member. And then I'm going to say that these users are in my team table that I had in Airtable as well. So I'm going to choose the email address field, the first name field, and the last name field as well. And by default, I'm going to give these users in this table the user role of speaker coordinator. So I'm going to save that there. All right, so far what we've done is add user roles, add our user list. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the different pages in the app and basically set some visibility rules. So for example, on the users page here, we mightn't want our speakers to be able to come in and see this page. So one of the things you can do in Noloco is set really tight controls over who should have access to what information, both at the UI layer or visibility level, but also at the database level as well. So if I enable layout editing here by toggling on this button on the bottom left-hand corner, I'm going to go here and click on the users page. And then I'm just going to go to visibility settings. So what I might want to say is that the only users who should be able to see this page are internal users. So that's already set up like that by default, which is nice. Then I'm just going to cycle through the rest of these. The companies page, I'm actually going to get rid of this one because we don't need this for this particular use case. The team page, I'm going to click here. I'm going to say that only internal users should be able to see this page. As the speakers page, I'll come back to that one in a second. The attendees page, I'm going to say that only internal users should be able to see this. And then the schedule, I'll say everyone should be able to see the schedule. So whether you are a team member or a speaker. And then the budgeting page, what I'm going to say is that perhaps only those with a very specific user role, so the finance user role, should be able to see this page. So that is kind of setting visibility settings for each page. So the first thing I'm going to do is basically create a new page for the speakers so that they can basically come in and see their own information and basically edit that information as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a new page here that is going to be of the speakers collection. And what I'm going to do is change the display of this page. So as opposed to just being a table here that lists all the different records, what I'm actually going to say is that this page should be like a single record view, essentially. So that, in other words, the speaker comes in and they should only be able to see their own information. And we're going to set up some permissions here to make sure that that is indeed the case. So I'm just going to call this page perhaps the my events page, or my talks or something like that. And you can of course change the names and change the URL paths as well, and also choose a different icon for this page too. So maybe a nice alien icon would make sense here for some bizarre reason. And so I've created the my events page, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to set another permission on the speakers collection. So I'm going to go into the data tab, click on the permissions icon here, and click to enable permissions. So we've just created a new permission here, and what I'm going to say is that I'm going to create a new one just for speakers here. So what this is going to do is I'll leave this one just for speakers. And basically what I'm doing here is basically saying what access those with the speaker user role should have access to. So by default, I'll say that speakers shouldn't be able to create records. They should just be able to log in, and they should be able to read records and update records. But what I'd say is that speakers shouldn't have access to all the speaker records. They should only be able to access those where the record matches that specific speaker. So I'm just going to look at, see how I've got that set up. I might need to do a quick refresh here. But basically what we want to do is restrict it so that speakers can only access their own records essentially. And we can do this via the UI as well. So let me just have a quick look here, and I didn't click save there, but it's going to say this is the speakers permission on the speakers table. They can create records, and they should be able to update records where that record matches the user speaker. Perfect. So I just hadn't kind of refreshed that there. And what this means then, if we go back to our page here, and we go to the My Events page, we should have it basically so that the user can only basically see their own information here. So what I'm going to do is preview the app as a particular user. I'm going to choose Russell here because I know they have the speaker user role. And basically, when Russell logs in on this particular page, he should only see his own information, and he should be able to edit and update this accordingly. So that's the first thing we want to do with this particular page. I'm going to edit it a little bit more. So for example, I'm going to take out a couple of the different fields that are on display here. So for example, we might necessarily want the speaker to see this is confirmed field. So I'm just going to toggle that off. Similarly, the reviewed field and also the reviewer field as well, i.e. the team organizer responsible for that speaker. So I have added in those there. Then I'm going to do a couple of other things as well. So I'm going to allow for the speaker to edit in line the presentation field and also the script field as well. So they can come in and without having to click the edit button, they'll be able to drop in their presentation and their script as well. And again, what we can do is we can turn off edit mode, and we can see then what this looks like to the speaker. So they can come in and click to upload a PDF there, or any file really they like. So that is from the for the speakers view. And one other thing I'm going to do here is basically add in another collection to this page so that the speaker can see the events that they are going to be talking at. So I've chosen to add another collection here. And here I'm going to choose the schedule list. And by default, we can see that this is basically pulling in all records from the schedule. But what I want to do is add a filter. And this filter should be basically that the speaker can only see the scheduled events that they're speaking at. So I can see now, and I'm going to toggle on a few more fields here to make it more obvious. So toggle on speakers here. I can see that Russell can only see an event that he's speaking at. And I'm going to also toggle on the location field, also notes as well. So that they get a little bit more context around where the event's taking place and who's leading it. So that is a lot for our speakers view here. So the next thing I'm going to do is add a workflow around the speakers collection to basically notify different members of the team when Russell has come in here and updated his information. For example, if he were to come in here and upload a file, for example, if he uploaded his presentation, upload a script, or even change some of his information here. So what I'm going to do is go over to the Workflows tab, which is the third one down here, and I'm going to create a new workflow. So I'm going to choose to create a speakers workflow because that is the relevant collection that we are referring to here. So I can use 3 different triggers for this workflow: when the speaker's record is created, when it's updated, or when it's deleted. So in this instance, what I want to do is create a workflow when the speaker's record is updated. So then I'm going to add an action, and as opposed to notifying someone whenever any speaker record is updated, what I'm going to do is I'm only going to continue if. So I'm going to add some logic here so that a team member only gets notified if the speaker themselves updates a particular, their own information. So what I'm going to do here is only continue if the user who updated the record. I'm going to click on that option, and I'm going to go to their speaker ID, and I'm going to say is equal to, and then I'm going to say the trigger, which is the change speaker's record, is matches the same ID. So in other words, that this workflow will only be triggered if Russell comes in, for example, and updates their specific record. So I'm going to click done here. And then what I'm going to do is add an email action. So what we can do is trigger a webhook and pass all the information related to that particular record as part of that webhook, or I can also send an email as well. Excuse me. So what I'm going to do is send an email to the speakers. Just need to move my Zoom thing here so I can see it, to the speakers, reviewers, email. So this is where basically I'm notifying the team coordinator who's in charge of the speaker. And I'm going to say that speaker information updated as the subject of this email. And then I can say that the following speakers info has been updated. And we can also pull in variables here as well. So I can say that the trigger, so that is again referring to the speaker's record, their name, and we can pull in other variables here as well. So we could also include, we could include all the information in this email if we want, like their phone number, their email, any other information like that. Or we could say, provide a link to view details within the app here as well. So what I'm going to do is basically provide a link here, so the call to action URL. And I know that this is the URL for this app view, and then to bring them to the specific record, I know it's just the unique identifier for that record at the end of that URL. And we can also add attachments to this as well. So if you wanted to include the presentation, for example, if they upload a presentation, or also their the script file as well, we can add that too. So I'm going to click done there. So now what we've done is we've created a view for speakers to be able to come in, update their information, and also created a workflow to notify members of the team when they have updated that information. So the last thing I'm going to do is create another view for the team members or those who've organized the event to basically be able to see their speakers. So by default, we have this speakers view, and I'm actually going to update this a little bit nicer. So I'm going to say that we should show cards here, and I'm also going to just turn on the profile picture here as well, because it's kind of nice for them to be able to see the profile picture. Just going to prioritize that at the top here. So by default, this basically shows all speakers associated with the event, but perhaps I want to see speakers that I am personally responsible for as part of the team. So I'm going to add another speakers collection here. And what I'm going to do is firstly, I'm going to rename this. I might say my speakers, for example. And then what I'm actually going to do is embed this or nest this under the main speakers view here. So I'm going to say that the parent view is speakers, and we can see here that I've now nested this page under that view. So what I'm going to do now is basically add a filter to basically filter the data. So as opposed to showing all, what I'm going to do is show the logged in user, their team member and their speakers collection. So as I'm logged in as myself here, and I'm not actually in the Airtable, I'm just going to have to change my user here. So what I'm going to do is update it to Sally Blogs. I think she has some speakers. And yeah, we can see here that when Sally logs in, then she's able to see her list of speakers here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add one more thing on this page to make Sally's life easier as the speaker coordinator. So we have a Boolean here for reviewed. And what we might want to do is add an action button to basically allow for the team coordinator to confirm in just a couple of clicks that they have reviewed the presentation and script that's been uploaded, or confirm the speaker basically, or confirm that they're ready for the event. So I'm going to add an action button here. So you can see we've just created an action button. And what I'm going to do is name this button confirm, confirm speaker, or confirm that the speaker is ready, for example. So if I click that, I'm just going to refresh here quickly. And basically what I want to do is provide a kind of a shortcut for that speaker or for that team member to be able to very quickly confirm that that speaker is going to be in attendance. Obviously just added something little blip there, but I'm sure we'll be able to recover this in just 2 seconds. Just going to refresh here now. Perfect. So if I go to the my speakers page again, I'm just going to change user here. So I have to choose Sally Blogs again. And I'm just going to click into this particular one. I see I have my action button still. So what I want to do is just update this action button. So I'm going to say is reviewed or review speaker. And I'm just going to add some text here for the confirmation modal that will come up. So confirm that speaker has been reviewed, and maybe some description text as well, so that you are confirming that you have reviewed presentation and script. All right, and then what we want to do is basically define what should happen when that is when someone clicks this action button, or what action we want to take place. So what we're going to say is we want to update a record, and what we want to do is update the reviewed Boolean and also the reviewer one as well. And what's really cool is what we can do is basically have these as hidden values as well, so that you don't actually have to fill in these fields, because we know that by clicking this, we just want to confirm that it has been reviewed. So what I'm going to do here is say hidden value, and I'm going to say value of true. So they're basically confirming that it has been reviewed. And then similarly, I'm going to add a hidden value for the reviewer so that basically we update it so that the logged in user, the person who's reviewing this actually, or maybe I should go down here and do it so that yeah, just do it so that the logged in user is down as the reviewer. So the logged in user team member ID. Perfect. So that's what we want to do here. So what I can do here is just go out of edit mode. And then we can see we have this review speaker thing. So confirm that speaker has been reviewed. You're confirming that you've reviewed the presentation script. I'll click to confirm. And then we can see that straight away the reviewed Boolean is now on true. And we can see the reviewer is down as Sally Blogs because I am impersonating or previewing as Sally right now. So that is very, well, kind of quickly, hopefully, showing you how you can build an app with Noloco off an Airtable base. So to recap quickly, what we did was we initially created a view for a speaker so that they could view their details and also upload and update their information, as well as seeing the specific events that they will be speaking at. We created a workflow to inform the team coordinators when a speaker has updated their information, and also created a nested view here so that the team can see their speakers and the ones they're responsible for, and add an action button to allow them to very quickly confirm that a speaker has been, or their content has been reviewed. So yeah, that is a very quick walkthrough there. And yeah, I can see now I haven't been paying attention to the chat. So sorry, I didn't see messages coming through, but I see Dara's been answering them, which is great. So yeah, I'm not sure, Art, what's the best format from here? If there are any other questions that people have, of course, we would be very happy to answer them.
Yeah, that was great. Thanks for going through that. I know half an hour isn't a lot of time to build something, but it also is amazing that you can build something as complex as you just did in half an hour. I mean, just the workflows, the user permissions, all that kind of stuff. It's really, I think, empowering to see how quick you can build an app like this. So this is a great example because it's very broad, but as you can imagine, there's a ton of different apps like you could build with something like Noloco here that would really help you automate, different things and processes within your organization, or even like your side project, even perhaps. So there's just like a lot of use cases that I know I'm going through in my head. I think, yeah, we can answer a lot of the questions were asked sort of as we went through, but this would be a great time if you have any questions to throw them in the chat. I'll also allow anybody who's in here right now to unmute themselves. If you prefer to just ask the question verbally, you can just come off mute and ask. There is a question here from Jorge. What's next in the roadmap?
Yeah, thanks, Jorge. So that question there. Yeah, so we've got really, really exciting plans for the year ahead. So as mentioned, we have a couple of external data source integrations. So this was, of course, an example using Airtable as a backend. And I mentioned that we have our Google Sheets integration there launched as well. So you can connect or build your app on top of your Google Sheets data. We will be looking to add more data integrations over the coming months as well, so that you can really easily build an app on top of your existing data. Ultimately, we want to become very much a back-end agnostic platform. So whether you're storing data in databases, other software tools like CRMs, project management tools, etc., you can pull it in. So specifically, ones that are on our radar are Postgres database, Salesforce CRM, and Firebase as well are kind of on our radar. But yeah, if there's any suggestions around other data sources, we'd be very keen to hear about them. Besides that, other things on our radar, we are working towards building a much more, let's say, sophisticated form builder experience. So we've just added this week the ability to have conditional logic, which is kind of like branching within the forms. Yeah, basically like UI prompts and validation and things like that. So that's something we're building, as well as we're also building a Python SDK over the next couple of months for those who are a bit more technical. And Sounds like someone accidentally off mute there. Other things we'll be adding are we'll be exploring kind of more public facing forums as well over the coming months. And yeah, generally improving things like our actions, automations, and workflows, and things like having formulas and Noloco collections as well. And also exploring kind of more of a payments use case too for those looking to get subscriptions through their app. One thing I just want to call out as well regarding our Airtable integration is that it is very much a two-way syncing experience as well. So I might actually just very quickly show that too. So what we can do is basically both ways update information via Noloco, but also via Airtable as well. So I'm just going to do here is update the Katina phrase information here. So instead of head of marketing, let's say head of product here. I'm just going to click done. Perfect. So that's been updated. And then if I go back to my Airtable here, I'm just going to go over here and I see Katina Frey, and that's been instantly updated to reflect that she's head of product. And then Musk is going to show is an update on the Airtable side as well. So say Matthias Anderson here, he's the CEO. I've just updated him to be COO. And these syncs from Airtable, it's usually reflected in their logo within 1 minute. Often it is as fast as 10, 15 seconds. So this is in the speakers here as well. And if I go back to Noloco then, and I see the speakers information, what I might just really quickly do here is add an inline filter to help me find that person. So if I add an inline filter for their name, I'm just gonna turn off edit mode here. And Matthias. So I didn't mention you can add these inline filters. And there you can see it's been updated to show COO. So those things two-way usually update within definitely less than a minute and sometimes as quickly as 10, 15 seconds. And sorry, I know that wasn't a bit of a tangent, but yeah, I thought it was something that we should have drawn attention to.
There was another question which got answered. Another, just sort of, I don't know if this is a question, but it's more of a comment, would be great if Google Analytics and Facebook Pixel, for example, I see that you're now focused on the core DB, but I guess just the comment is it would be great to see Google Analytics or a Facebook Pixel integrated in here. Yeah,
and Jorge, I'd be really curious to kind of hear more information if you want to, if you do want to ping me or drop me your email or something. We can have a chat at sometimes to learn more about exactly what information you want to pull into an app. But I think that sounds very cool, and ultimately we want to be able to help you pull in information from anywhere that you're storing useful data. So we're very much open to it.
I'm going to chime in if that's all right. I haven't said everything, but I'm Dara, the other founder of Noloco. But Paul had a good question about authentication and Outseta. So like one of the things we do really well is that we don't need an external authentication layer. If you're using one, you can probably sync it with something like Zapier or whatever. But the point of this is that everyone who, all of those user lists then are able to log in via the login page. So if like Simon, even if you want to just go to /login there, you'll see that if those were actually real emails that were in the Airtable base, all of those users would be able to log in with a magic link. So you just have to email your users saying, hey, you now have an account with your app. They'd pop their email in there and they'd get a magic link to sign up, or to sign in rather.
Yeah, that's really exciting to hear. It's one of the big problems that you would often have is, migrating users over. So it just reduces that friction, by allowing them to sort of map the emails to what's in the Airtable and then just giving them a magic link. It's like a one-step thing. It's not like they need to create a new account. So that's pretty exciting, I think, for a lot of people to see.
Yeah. And we actually also support open registration optionally. So in your settings page, you can turn on open registration, which then basically gives you a register page, and those users then get access to being able to sign up if they weren't in your Airtable base. But that doesn't suit everyone, so it's completely optional.
Awesome. there any other, I think we got through, there was a lot of questions in the chat as we went, but are there any other questions? We have a few. We want to respect everyone's time, of course, but we've got a couple more minutes. And like I said, anyone can throw a question in the chat. Also, you can unmute yourself if you just want to ask a question. I think you can, at least at this point. Are there any other questions out there that you want to have answered? If not, you can, I think Simon dropped his email in there. You can also reach out to myself. I'll put my email in the chat, art@nocodevs.com, and I'll make sure that I get it to Simon or Dara here as well. But I think what we'll do is maybe just, yeah, there you go. I was going to say share the link to your site just so where people can find you. Is there anywhere else they can find you, or anything else that you sort of want to plug here about Noloco, or anything else you want to sort of wrap up with?
Yeah, sure. So yeah, if you sign up, you'll obviously be on our mailing list for our product updates. We have product updates on our website as well. We have our Slack community too. So if anyone wants to join that, we can probably pretty quickly grab the link for our Slack community here as well. And the other thing is that we do share bi-weekly founder updates as well. So giving great insight into our revenue and our metrics and our progress as well. So as we learn and as we build Noloco, we try to be as transparent as possible and share learnings with those who are on that mailing list. So you can access that from our website as well, which is on /founder updates too. So if anyone wants to subscribe to that, you can find that. I think, sorry, I'll just see the chat here. Company founder updates. Cool. So yeah, this is like an Airtable form too. So we'll just pop that in the chat as well. And if I find Zoom again here, perfect.
Yeah, and again, for anyone who might have missed it, we did record this today. It usually takes a couple of days for us to edit it and then get it emailed out, but it will come out, so you can rewatch it at your own pace if you would like. So if there's no other questions coming through, I mean, just want to say thanks to Simon, Dara, and Noloco for being here today. This is always really helpful to get like a firsthand demo of how to use product. Thank you for being a No Code Devs member, or however you found this event. We appreciate you being here and taking the time, out of your busy day to participate in this. So thanks, everyone. If you have any other questions, just ping us afterwards. But thanks again. I think we can wrap it up.
Yeah, and yeah, thank you, Art, from Dara and myself at Noloco as well. And we're super happy to be got to know you over the last year and a half in kind of the no code space. And it's great to have people like you kind of championing all these tools like Noloco. So really grateful for what you do, and great to see the community, the entity community thriving as well. So congrats, and yeah, great job.
Yeah, thanks so much, guys. Have a great day, everyone.